Welcome, everyone, and thank you again, James. We're going to have a panel here talking about the Rakuten's real Open RAN licensing program and talk about some of these partners that Sharad had put up on a slide earlier. So it's going to be excellent. We have actually all three partners here today. In fact, one of them was not going to make it, and now we're complete. So excellent. Very good. So let's get started. Let me introduce, first of all, I'm going to introduce Sharad if you don't know already. Sharad is the president of the Rakuten Symphony and the co-CEO of Rakuten Mobile, and you saw him earlier. And he's back again because by popular demand, he is back. We have next up Mohit Joshi, who is CEO and Managing Director of Tech Mahindra. Welcome, Mohit. And back again from Sunday's event, Masum.
Thanks.
Masum is Senior Vice President and General Manager of Cisco Networking Provider Mobility at Cisco. That is a long title and well-deserved. And finally, we have Glenn Laxdal, who is the CEO of Airspan. Excellent. Welcome, Glenn. Very good. So we're going to start here and give Sharad a chance again to talk about the program, but not just the program, but the impetus and the thinking behind it. So last year at MWC Barcelona, you announced it. I remember it well. And in the meantime, you've been working very hard in the background to make this a reality. So it's taken some time, but clearly you have three very distinguished partners up here today with you. What were your objectives for this business model? What's the bigger picture at play here? And how has the state of play in the RAN space influenced your decision for this venture? Like, what was it behind the scenes in your thinking to make this happen?
So, apart from the big vendors that we know on the RAN side, there are so many players who are trying to develop same software, and honestly, the cost of R&D just from the software development perspective is nothing less than 70-80 million, and there are probably 50 companies globally, including small, big. They are trying to do same thing. We have done this at scale. It's already proven. Then the question was why. One option is we compete with them or we enable them. And as Rakuten, we want to create this ecosystem of Open RAN, enable RU vendors, enable cloud vendors, enable GSI vendors to use this as a license, and they can sell it. They can use it for their own purpose or they can sell it.
Excellent.
And second thing was, if you look at the second tier of vendors, it's not proven. And it's luckily we have Rakuten Mobile, where we can test it and make it Japan grade.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely I think an interesting combination of the ability to test it before you actually license it and demonstrate at a scale so the partners are not concerned about the scalability of it. But more importantly, your desire to open up the ecosystem and to enable the market and unlock the market. I think that's useful for everyone here, your partners and the wider market as well. So let me go to Mohit next, Tech Mahindra. You are a prime systems integrator for sure, right across the street there. Anyone who's interested in visiting that booth can can do so right after. And your preferred partner for this program as well. And so what excites you the most about this real Open RAN licensing program, and why did you choose to participate?
Thank you. So, look, I think, from a Tech Mahindra perspective, this is a wonderful opportunity for us and for our clients, right? If I look at our company today, $6.5 billion in revenue, we work with hundreds of operators across the world. And we also work in hundreds of enterprises across the world, right? And the advantage of, we've obviously had a great relationship with Rakuten for over 6 years now, working across multiple programs. And we can see the advantages of, of the approach, of the architecture, the simplicity it offers, the modular nature, the scalability, the cost and commercial benefits, the fact that we're creating an ecosystem. And having worked with a couple of operators where this has been implemented, we do see the applicability of taking it more broadly across the globe. As a principle, open systems offer huge advantages compared to proprietary systems, right? It's easier for clients, it's more commercially viable, contractually simpler, there is scalability, there is flexibility, it's built on new technology. You have the ability for new people to come up and offer up ideas, to build solutions on top of the underlying architecture. So, uh, a host of benefits really for companies across the world.
Excellent. Thanks, Mohit. Now I'm going to go to the other sort of vendor partners next. I'm going to actually start with Glenn at the back here. he has a mic. I think we're good. So thank you for sharing. But so Airspan has been a very long partner for Rakuten Symphony and previously Altiostar. So the relationship goes back many, many years, as I recall. And you've been helping them deliver Open RAN projects over the years. Why do you think this decision for Rakuten Symphony to license the Open RAN source code to other vendors, why is this significant? And what does this do for the Open RAN market overall?
The partnership between Airspan and Rakuten does go back actually to the very beginning, I think.
Yeah.
I think that the Open RAN ecosystem is actually uh, is actually going through gradual growth and is about to go through accelerated growth. And what we're looking for is sort of the linchpins to enable that to take off. The reason we like the licensing model is that we like the Rakuten Symphony software stack. It's microservice based. It's cloud native. It scales both up for mobile network operators. It scales down into private network opportunities. It's modular so that you can build on top of it. And it's been battle hardened. And maybe the most important thing about the Rakuten Symphony software stack, platform rather, is that it has been put into production. It's been many, many years, and I'm going to say hundreds of millions of dollars of development. And then it's been put into production and now has 8.5 million subscribers in the most demanding network in the world. So it works. And in terms of coalescing the Open RAN ecosystem, what we're looking to do is to enable platforms which take the hard work away. And there is no work that is harder than developing an at-scale CUDU platform in our industry. It is the most difficult thing to do. Once you've cracked that one, then the building blocks, the applications that you can interface into that software platform, the radios that you can interface into that software platform, the applications that you can develop for private networking purposes, it opens up the ecosystem. And I actually think that we're about to see that happen. What the last 5 years have been about is platform building. What the next 5 years is going to be about is really Open RAN taking off in the marketplace in a very broad-based way.
Yep, excellent. And then you brought up one of those words, and I'm going to ask Masum about, which is private wireless or private networks. So, Masum, you work a lot with Cisco's different customers, service providers, enterprises, and so on. From an enterprise perspective, right? What are you hearing from enterprise customers, and how does the availability of a RAN software license help those customers with their challenges and the needs today?
But first of all, you think about what we hear from enterprise is not new. We have been hearing from enterprise for many, many years, decades. They want simplicity, they want flexibility, and they want an open ecosystem because enterprise is always mix and match of technology and multi-generation. Uh, Mobile was one area in enterprise. It did not work that way. So this program actually ties in so nicely. It's like the question you ask, why partner? I would say, why not? Right. So the way we look at enterprise means ease and simplicity of operation, but on the same time, you have to move fast. It's not like a nationwide network you take few years to build and then you will capitalize over the next 20 years. In enterprise, you build, you iterate, you build and iterate. Now, the one thing maybe we didn't talk a lot about, Open RAN actually made RAN and cellular software. Now, if we just think about this hardening that we did, our partnership with Sharad and team for 7 years, we actually run a software operation. Our packet core network, our data centers, and the radio network from operations is actually software operation. Now, with this program, it also gives us the agility that we need on enterprise-specific use case creation much, much faster.
Excellent. Actually, I'm going to now switch order because you said something that I think Mohit could respond well to. Now we're on the enterprise track. We're looking at enterprise needs and bringing mobility to that. So I'm going to ask Mohit first before I go to Sharad. You have a strong track record, obviously, as Tech Mahindra, working with customers across many industries. I think that's good. Beyond telecom, which is obviously what we're talking about here, what other industries do you expect to benefit from this Open RAN, right? These kind of solutions that the Masum talked about as well.
That's a great question. Thank you. So look, I think if I look at it, obviously, private enterprise networks span the scale, across many industries, and whether it's ports or plants, those use cases are there. The very clear use cases from a manufacturing perspective. When you look at the whole factory of the future, the hyper-connected factory of the future, and we have such use cases in our own parents' auto plant in India. When you look at the automobile business, right? Everybody's talking about autonomous driving, highly instrumented cars.
Yep.
Great use case, for Open RAN over there. Medicine, I think, hospitals, especially the provider space, again, great potential for remote patient treatment, for instance, or remote surgery, or just the huge amount of digitization and instrumentation that is happening of medicine overall. But really, across industries, right? We've spoken about transportation, we've spoken about medicine, but even if you look at an industry like financial services, for instance, or insurance, for instance, right? So much of insurance now is going to be event driven, right? You have a flood, the house detects immediately if there's been a seepage, raises an insurance claim. So the use cases really are wherever sort of a machine to machine or a human to machine interaction is required. You have the need for these Open RAN networks.
Excellent. Where reliable connectivity is absolutely required, right? And reliable, secure, scalable connectivity is absolutely required. So excellent. All right, Sharad. Gonna go to the next. So you have these three partners sitting here. This must be a really proud moment for you, having worked really hard, and I'm sure they work equally hard as well to get here. What does this mean for you in terms of hitting this milestone? What kind of confidence does it give you in terms of expanding the partnership and the network and the vision for Rakuten Symphony going forward?
In terms of ambition, probably we discussed our ambition is to be Red Hat of Open RAN or Android of Open RAN. That's the ambition. But having closed 3 partners, our target for this year is at least 3 to 4 more partners, and in different domain. If you look at the current 3 partners, they operate in very different field. And for example, now we are targeting universities, we are targeting vendors or partners who provide testing tools, and also defense.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to seeing additional partners joining the ecosystem. But there is one thing that sort of bothers me a little bit, which is that the Open RAN licensing model is ahead of the telecom industry curve, right? I mean, you're sort of pushing the envelope here. Glenn, you have a lot of customers, right? Carriers and enterprises alike. What are your customers telling you about their readiness to adopt this kind of model?
I think Masum actually hit the nail on the head. It's the opportunity to convert industry that is the telecom industry is hardware and software integrated together in a monolithic platform. What Open RAN attempts to do is split that apart, disaggregate the network, and make it a software-defined network. And now we're introducing the software-defined aspect of the network into the RAN. And I think the timing is perfect. So just as this is in keeping with what has happened in the software industry, Sharad mentioned Red Hat. We want to be the Red Hat of the industry with the software platform. That's a software-defined industry. This is becoming a software-defined industry, and I think it's the perfect time. And yes, it is ahead of the telecom curve, but this is where telecom is going. Telecom is moving into the software domain. It's moving into the automation domain, and I think we want to take advantage of it now.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense. You are all skating to going where the puck is going to go, and that's where it's going to go for telecom. Going to give Masum the last word here. We're here at MWC 25. We're not allowed to finish any panel without mentioning those 2 letters. We can all spell AI. So, Masum, I'm going to give you the hardest question right now. Harder than building a CUDU, as Glenn says. What's the relationship, I'll make one up, between AI needs in the enterprises and this licensing program?
Okay. I'll make a parallel this way. What AI is doing in everyday life, what used to take me 2 hours, it takes 2 seconds, right? That's what's happening, and you see it in your pocket every day. The speed of getting work done is like becoming amazing. Now, if that is the speed in enterprise, that everything will be done faster, think about the infrastructure that has to cope to this. That means you have to do change faster. The first implication that we see is AI surrounding us. Everyone's expectation is work gets done faster with this ecosystem. Now we are software. That means we can also use AI to write our software, operate our software. So we can also catch up to the speed of the AI. It's as simple in my mind.
Excellent. Great answer. I know the question wasn't prepared, so brilliant answer. Very good and very well done. We've now checked the box for AI. And with that, I'd like to thank the panelists. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, thank you, Masum. Thank you, Mohit. And thank you, Sharad, as always, for having us here. And audience,
Thank you.
you're welcome to stay around and ask these folks much more difficult questions than I prepared. I'm sure they'll stay around for that or they'll run away. But you know where Mohit's going is going to go that way. So you know where he's going to be. All right. So thank you very much. And let's give the panel a big round of applause.